Okay, thought I might start early, just because I've got to get a sketch down, and I've got to test out everything. Let's see, I've got my screencast keys up, I've got my toolbox settings ready to go. What was my camera? Camera setting. Damn it. Gonna have to check my toolbox settings again. Hang on, let's have a look here. Built-in switch preset, nope. For Blender, we got play stop, numpad 5 press. Is there a double click for? No, that's up down. Morning, anyone who's joined in. I'm just getting everything up and running, and I've forgotten some of my shortcuts for Toolbox so that I can clear. Hey, Andre. Let's see. That's all working really well. Side view. Active camera toggle. Oh, okay, cool. So I just go down. There we go. Yes, okay, got it. It even says right here. Let's stay there. Right, okay, so then we want our brush. I want to go into draw mode. Okay, so I'm basically starting from scratch here. Boys, Markham, how's it going? He's here for a little bit. Okay, as I'm just getting everything started so that I can see the health of my feed and some chats, so on and so forth. I'll stick to stream settings, stream health. Stream's healthy. I think I might stick to the analytics, and every now and then have to go back to the OBS. So I'll watch the chat for any problems. So what I got to start with, obviously, is a quick sketch of, yep, the votes were in, weren't too many votes, but enough that Amos Burton was the subject, and so we're gonna start sketching Amos. I might start with the blue line. It's very faint. I might end up sketching just with a pencil soft, just so you guys can see everything. Thanks, Andre. Well, let's hope that this one turns out just as well. So yeah, we've got our layers. I'll probably end up having to. So we're going to go a bit caricaturish on Amos Burton. Let's go front, and let's just disable the camera. So we've just got our front on view, image editor. See, I have a couple of other references for Amos because I was wondering whether to go this route, because dude's got a physique and the beard is definitely part of his character now and everything. But this is definitely quintessential Amos Burton in his little pure and clean thing, and he's got a little devil pen there too, so I might try to get that in as well. So I'll just sort of take this for the pose reference first. So we got nose is about here, and he's got, yeah. Hoping this time suits a few people. It might be a case that if I get the opportunity, I could do a couple of live streams a month. One to sort of suit the more US based audiences, which is a good place to sort of be, but the sort of European GMT around this time seems to work really great for people as well. So thickish eyebrows there. I cheated a little bit on the thumbnail because I had to get a thumbnail out really, really quick. I actually did that thumbnail in Critter real quick. And if anyone wants me to do a speed paint in Critter, I'm going to be doing I have to work on a concepting course for the next few weeks for Critter. So, I might switch it up if people are interested. Critter's a really great program to be doing some concepting in. Felfurian, welcome. Okay, I'm going to give him the little swept over hairstyle instead of the shaved crew cut for this drawing. And if I can get the beard looking halfway right, I'll do that. But I've got an idea for the stubble as well. So just going to quickly sketch down the outline, see while... Erindale, hey, how's it going? Yes, Critter workflows would be awesome. I've got to get my game on for figuring out how to work in Critter, like the kind of fill style. Now, at the moment, I am working with the toolbox for my shortcut keys controls, but you'll be able to see my shortcuts here. I might just change. Let's see now. Let's go back to here. Let's see if I've got screencast keys here. Might just quickly change the color to something that is a little bit more visible. Oh, that's actually pretty visible. So you guys can really see. Everyone can see that mouse all right, yeah? LC's in the house. Got another one for Critter. Okay. All right, so now we can see our screencasts. Let's get back to draw mode. So we can see our shortcuts as they happen. I'm actually controlling this with the toolbox, which I've sort of set up here, so that I can get my shortcut keys on my right hand, because I draw left-handed. And we've got to get, yeah, my stylus for the drawing is set up with an eraser on the back end of the stylus. Now, is it Shift? No, Control. Yes, Control. Excellent. Control. Yep. Look, you know what? I think I'm getting pretty good with the balance now. It's not too distorted. I want to give him a bit more of a jawline, though. Like, get this bit more exaggerated. Get this done as quickly as possible so I can get onto the fun stuff, the inking, the effects, all of that sort of thing. So this will probably be a shading trick there to get his mouth right. Pretty easy guy to draw, I think. This actor's brilliant. You guys watch The Expanse? I hope. If you haven't, it's really setting the bar high for sci-fi in general. Really great storyline. I'm on the last book at the moment. Oh, no, we just want to go forward. Right, let's get the rest of him sketched. So it's broad shoulders, trapezoid for. He's got biceps here. Okay. So you, Paul, who was doing some stuff with Clip Studio and 3D asset imports. Yes, it was. Haven't gone back to it recently, but I need to, just because of work commitments at the moment. If this turns out to be a really good time, if I get like concurrent viewers to be up in the 30s or even 40s, I might stick to this time slot and use this as my sort of warm-up time before I got to get into work, because then I can really kind of double up with that. But yeah, no, the Clip Studio stuff was really good because I learned a good format to import. It's a really low-res picture, by the way, so my reference is not going to be great. Let's see, is this... let's go into edit mode. No. Edit mode, proportional fall off, and let's... we want to go into that. Let's grab, and let's just adjust that ever so slightly. Grab these. Oh, no, we don't want to rotate. Grab and go back into front view. Yeah, he's looking all right. I think it's a pretty good starting point for Amos. Boy, we've got some chats. Oh, it's Mark on. Warm-up time. Make sure you stretch out before your workout. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind for next time. Was the Clip Studio stuff for modular assets? It was a little while ago. Yes, it was. And the whole idea was to build the modular assets to a point inside of Blender and then get them over to Clip Studio and set them up in Modeler. Modeler is like Clip Studio's little 3D kit, right? And Modeler's good. It's fiddly. I really wish they would work on those controls a little more, right? But you can import your stuff, and then Modeler is really good at setting up your assets that you can then have in Clip Studio to work with, right? Here I am drawing in Blender, talking about Clip Studio. Thanks, Aaron. And so, yeah, like I'm seeing all the wonderful stuff that's coming out of people using GeoNodes and stuff. And if I haven't jumped back into GeoNodes, I really should. Okay, he's got his little devil pin here. I'm going to have to make a feature of that because that sort of featured in one of the final EPs. And we're going to have pure and clean. His little jumpsuit there. Okay, he's looking good. Yeah, so why don't we go into edit mode, select all, scale Amos down, just frame him a bit better. Might go a bit out of frame actually, just to get some interesting, and maybe a little off center, because maybe we can get some background elements in there as well. All right. So, should we just jump straight into inking? Texturing showing up when importing 3D models into is always an issue. Oh, yeah, it is. Totally is, Art. I don't know why that is, and like I really got to look back into it, but it's almost like you've got to set up all of your color stuff in Modeler so you can get your virtual, but like the whole idea is to use it as reference. That's what I do. Enough to really figure it out. Yeah, like boy, the instruction book on Clip Studio in general is abysmal, and Modeler, oh boy, you can sort of see what's possible, and it sort of tells you, well, there's this feature and that feature, but like trying to use it is a real pain in the butt. And there's this thing where you can sort of bring in PNG images to facilitate your coloring, right? So imagine like a 1 pixel or 8 pixel by 8 pixel grid of a color, and then you can assign that to your model in Clip Studio. This is all from memory, by the way. Things might have changed. This was over a year ago that I was doing this. I'm going to go with inks here. I'm going to jump straight into inks because I really want this to be a fast thing. Now, these two pencils here, right, this blue and this red, if you can see those, I've made them available freely on my Gumroad, and I'll try to put a link to that if you guys want to grab them. Like, they're free brushes. And there's a little clip video, Gumroad. I'll just Google myself for a second if you just indulge me. And here we go. I'm just going to copy that and stick this in the live stream. And yeah, I'll put that in later. But basically, okay, so those two brushes are freely available. They're just a couple of presets. They're nothing too special. But if you follow the little video intro on that page, it'll show you how to set them up for your 2D preset. That's if you go to new 2D animation preset, right? I've set mine up so that they pop up in the brushes automatically. So that's something that you might want to do. All right, so now I'm going to put an adjustment on this line work. I'm going to tint it. I'm going to have to make it slightly darker blue so that I know that this is my blue line. All right, I love this little adjustment area. And we're going to lock off those, maybe drop the opacity a little bit so when we're working with our inks, it's a lot cleaner. So we've got our ink pen. We're going to jump into Vertex paint mode, and the tools, yep, shows up. Excellent. Yeah. I've often cheated. Like I've sometimes gone and oh yes, we're also going to need to make a new Amos palette. Oh man, no, that's not what we want. I want to get rid of that. Okay, palette 2 is working. This one we don't want. Palette 2, let's call this Amos, and we'll start by adding this color to it, this black here. I'm just going to do a cleanup. Unused data blocks. One palette is deleted, right? That's a really cool way to just clean stuff up. It cleans up any unused material. So if you want to keep that, you've got to make it a fake user, and then that stuff won't go away. But anything that's not ticked or has a 0 next to it will be. And just like you can do some recursive stuff. So there's some images here. Got rid of my reference image. Don't want to do that. So I've got to go back to my folder. Yeah, don't want to do that. Amos, let's grab that picture there. Excellent, we're back. Maybe I'll make that a fake user. No, Amos Burton. Let me see if I can write this down. A-M-O-S. But he's one of my favorite characters from both the book and the TV series. Okay, I'm going to enable my stabilized stroke because this is a brilliant tool if you haven't seen it. It just interpolates your line work. All right. Erase. I'm going to turn this into erase stroke so that it just gets rid of the stroke in one hit. Yeah, interpolates your line work based on the sensitivity. So if you can have it quite high, the default is quite high. If you take a look, there's a bit of a lead in. And so if I'm a bit jittery, right, it will basically make a little radius, about 40 pixels, and then interpolate the smoothness for you. Anyway, why don't we get to inking Amos? We'll start with maybe the hair. Now I'll drop down the radius here. Now you can see that the shortcut is your bracket, your square bracket key left and right. And as I do that, the radius here for the brush is showing up. Okay. One thing I wish I could enable, and maybe someone out there knows there, leave it in the comments if you do. I want to see the influence ring, like with the eraser, you get that influence ring, right? So you can sort of see how big or small something is. But with the pencil, for some reason, I haven't seen where that is at the moment. You can access it with the Shift key as well. Okay, let's just try it. Shift. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. So to get your brush up and down. All right. Bleh. Let's Control Z that. Anyway, why don't we begin inking? Okay, that's a little too thin, so let's get a little bit thicker on that because I want some nice, clearly defined lines. And I might toggle out of camera view so that we can really work well. Now, this jawline is going to be the caricature feature, I think. So we want to get some nice, get his chin in like that. And I really do like working with this toolbox for stuff like zooming and tools like that. Just because, yeah, like I mentioned before, left-handed and all. So, yeah, I've got 10 concurrent viewers. Welcome if you're just tuning in. What's the time? We're almost we're almost at the time that I've sort of set it. So maybe we'll get an influx around about my 9 a.m. Yes, 9 a.m. in the morning. Let's undo that. Now the other reason I really like that's right. Get that down to 20. It's a little bit too sensitive for me. The other reason I like Grease Pencil is because going into edit mode on the fly, you can select something like that, right? And then I got this Alt. Have I assigned an Alt S? Alt S. Oop. Oh, that's a bit too fierce. Where's my scroll? Shrink, fatten. There we are, right? And you can influence the thickness or thinness of that. What's the benefit of painting in Blender over any other 2D software? Oh boy, that question. I happen to like it just because of some of the tools. Sorry, busy right now. Such as, it's like vector painting. And, look, I have to say that I am enjoying jumping into Critter once again, because that's more of your traditional 2D painting application. But I do like having control of, say, these verts here to adjust on the fly, and do things like just to, adjust them slightly before going back into draw mode. And let's just try flipping. Yep. And so, like, if I do a flip, Jim P animation. That's not Jim or Paint It. No. Welcome, Jim. Welcome, never ever. Auto join button. If you have it on, then will you draw another line? It will continue the line and not leave a gap. Is that 3.0? This is 3.0. I haven't actually checked that out yet. Where do I find that? Just let me massage this in place. Yeah, with new tools like that, I get a bit lazy. I'll have to admit. I just kind of go back to my old habits. But yeah, auto join is if you want to, manipulate the line. Manipulate both lines or something like that. Yeah, it comes in handy. Because, yeah, you are sort of working with strokes. Let's go back to side one. Okay, now his eye's a little wonky. So what I'll do is I'll trace over this and then I'll just move him over. I haven't drawn much in 3.0 yet. I've not checked that. Paul may know that better. Sorry, Art, I don't. I know there are things in 3.0, such as, like, for example, I can make another layer here, and there is a merge down function. That's new, right? So if you want to do inks on multiple layers, let's do that, okay? Let's put the eye in, okay? Let's go, let's bring in this eye. Boom. And I'll have to redraw this at one point, right? And I've done this on a second layer, and I'm kind of happy with it. Oh, actually, why don't we go and select all? Oh, no. Lock that off. Select all. Grab and move this over. Maybe rotate it ever so slightly. Okay. Go back into any mode. And now we can go merge down. And now that becomes part of all that inking layer. I really like that in 3.0. There's a special benefit over 2D software, but I would say that 2.5, because you can paint in 2D and 3D for grid. Yeah. Let's see. Should I do the orbit? Let's see here. No, that's spacebar. We don't want to animate. Yeah. I'm just gonna middle mouse. No. Damn it. Shift. There, right? So you're drawing in 3D space, just in front view. And depending on whether you have your 3D cursor enabled and how you might set up your drawing, you can actually, when drawing, let's see, origin, stroke placement could be 3D cursor, even a surface for a 3D model, or another stroke. And so you can draw in 3D places so that you can place things in 3D, which is very, very cool. I'm just going to hide that 3D cursor again so we can get back into that. A join function. Is that an edit function maybe? Let's see. Let's select this. Let's shift select that. Said it's like the end points, is it? That there is there is a joint tool. Join, right? But what this does, it did it. It did it. It was that fantastic. Okay, it could be that. Okay, so it's Shift J, but so let's do this again. Select those two endpoints. This one is a bit too thin for my liking. This one too, and let's say we go Shift select that, stroke, join, Control J, right? And that has joined those at those 2 points. There we go. I hate that it has loose ends so much. Okay, let me get it. So did you all see that? Okay, so you can join points together. So in previous versions, it would do really weird things for me. I'm just going to go and dissolve that point so that I can get that. That's really cool. That is really cool. Okay. Shift select. You know what? I'm going to use that so much that I've got to get a toolbox control to have that as a shortcut. Yeah. Shift select. Control J. I love it. Love it. Control J, people. It will smooth out the line thickness also. Get out. That is amazing. Okay. Control J. Boom. Yes. Alt S. Let's scale that thinness down. Okay. And if I really want to cheat, nah, you know what? I'm going to go back into draw mode. Let's draw in this other eye. Let's get a nice thick line here. There. Okay. Now, I like thick black eyebrows, so I'm going to go with solid fill here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's looking okay. He's okay. Right, it's got those nice thick eyebrows. He's looking a bit teenage heartthrob there, actually. So he's oh boy. Let's go back to here. Yep. Let's get in the rest of these. Oh, no. Undo. What have I got for my undo? I've got Control Z. Yes. A little bit of a scroll wheel thing there. So, right. Let's keep drawing here and see if there's any more. I'll quickly look over the chat. Oh, this looks like a good time, especially for interaction. Where are all my concurrent viewers at? You know what? I'll put a call out and I'll say, if anyone wants to, why don't you share this stream on your social media for anyone who you think might be interested? That might be a way to get some people interested. Now, another reason I really love using Blender is because the default brushes, this is just a default ink brush, right? But it reminds me very much of Clip Studio. In the whole kind of thickness, just the pressure sensitivity of it, that the flow. Just, I really love how it works. Okay, so I'm just going to put these lines in, but I think I might focus on the shading for that. Okay, so we've got to get this a little bit more even up with the nose. See, my anatomy is not as good as a lot of other. Oh, yes. Let's join you guys together. Yes. Thank you for whoever put me onto that that tool. That's brilliant. X point. There we go. There's always a bit of sculpting. No, not you. You. Shift, Control J. Love it. Developers, hats off to you guys for fixing that problem, because it was always a case of, like, if you did a line, let me show you. The old school way was, if you did a line start to finish, right, and then start to finish, and you tried to join these two ends, sometimes you get really weird things, like it would just go from like the start to the start, or the end to the end, or it'd just not give you what you expected. And oh boy, I really hope you can't hear my kids in the background. They're still screaming. Yes, they're awake. It's school vacation. Yeah, so that's some of the things that it would do. So let's get these lines in. Let's get this nice and thick here. And got to get all this stuff in. This t-shirt. Okay, if one of them runs in here, I'm just going to have to go on mute. That's a possibility, because it's early and they're up and stuff. Okay. Yeah. Edit mode. Linked. I think these lines have definitely got to be thicker. So let's give a nice fat radius to get these nice, okay, I want to work bigger. Collapse at center, it might be faster. That could be a way. Although, like, the join tool is just a shortcut key, and I could do it with, like, painting the area. What it's really good for is for, if you've got to have, if you want to close gaps in your ink work for later color filling, that's one way of doing it. So, like, you can see how I got a lot of gaps here, right? And so if you want to sort of, say, close those two gaps later and just do a bucket fill. Why do I do that? He's not wearing a sleeve. That's a bicep. Keep that. Yeah. Oof. Now, I happen to be in summer down here in Australia, so I might have to go and turn on my fan soon because I'm beginning to swelter. I know in the Northern Hemisphere that's kind of weird. Linked. Goodbye. Health of the stream's pretty good. Oh, you don't have to precisely... That's even better. So if you just sort of choose... Okay, let's experiment. Okay, let's say we got that one. Then we shift select that one. Let's see what happens when we go Control J. The angels doth sing, and the heavens, lo, the heavens did open. That's amazing. Guys. Yeah, I should just rebrand my, I should just rebrand my, live streams to come teach Paul something. Maybe I'll do it just to learn a thing or two from people. These little tidbits of knowledge are so good. And like, I think the improvements to 3.0 are like that, right? They're tiny little things that just make your workflow a lot more pleasant, more easy, more intuitive. Yeah, I really like that about how they kind of improve things. Now, I've heard through the grapevine that no, escape. Connected only. That in 3.01 or 3.2, materials for grease pencil are going to finally be able to cast shadows. How cool is that? So I want to see if that's in sort of an alpha or a beta, just to confirm that. If anyone can confirm, that'd be really, really excellent. Because that was always the thing. Like, you can get some really good lighting, right? To be put on your grease pencils, but I think I'm just gonna join these guys up. Okay, linked. But yeah, I wanted some grease pencil objects to cast shadows on other grease pencil objects, and like that, you can't do because the materials are not your BDSF materials from Blender. I mean, they can be adjusted like them, and then there are settings there to, almost like placeholders to allow for that. But when that happens, working in 2D in 3D space is just going to be just amazing. Absolutely amazing, guys. All right, so let's get the definition. This bicep there, and then this arm. We're not really going to see this arm here, and we want to erase. Sometimes the fastest way to erase is to take a point, Oh, it's only 2 points, so we can just go duh, duh, and then scale you down. Grab you. Oh, yes, that definitely needs to be scaled up a little bit. Now, what I might do... he's looking pretty good, yeah? Yeah? What I might do is I might throw in my mask now. I'll put this on the fills layer and I'll relabel this color mask. You might have seen me do this in the last live stream if you were around, or maybe you weren't. And I'm just going to choose let's go a little bit lighter. Right. Now what this is going to do, color mask and stroke, we'll leave it. Might do it in a couple of passes. Doesn't have to be exactly right to begin with, so we'll just do this right. Okay, so there's, right, and we'll just go into edit mode to finesse this a little bit better. And I want to sort of take the time on this one just because this is ultimately going to be our mask to contain all the colors. So what I did last week is you sort of create this master shape, right? And we're not actually going to see this shape, but this makes flatting a lot easier. So, all right, so we got that. Now I'm just going to mask and go back into draw mode. GP animation that makes the best use out of this 3D cover. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've actually been dabbling with the 3D animation stuff, timelines and whatnot, for a particular job I got on, because I'm actually making some storyboards, and for the purposes of animatic, just gonna, before I get to the hair can be a little bit wispy there and there, and we'll just grab those. Oh, proportional fall off's a little bit too strong. Let's just grab those. Grab. They're all good, right? Okay, so we've got our mask. I'm gonna save this actually. Can't believe I haven't saved my file yet. Speedpaint's 2022, Amos. And let's call this Grease Pencil Speed Paint 2201 Amos. Hey Andy, how's it going? Glad you could join us. Right, so now we've got this color mask, right? Undo to use lights and bring the opacity right down. Right, because now what we're going to do is our color. That's spelt badly. Color layer, right? And color, you enable masks, and then you go add color mask. Now this has got the mask enabled. I'll just quickly show you what it looks like if you don't have a mask on. Let's go back to drawing mode, and let's begin with sort of a skin tone, but like quite pale, bit grayish. Right, let's see what this looks like. Too dark. Why is that? Where's my color settings? Color management. No, we are on standard. Okay, that is using the lights, so maybe no, still a bit too bright. Sorry, a bit too dark. So let's brighten that up still too saturated. Maybe I'll just bring down the saturation a bit. Bit better. Maybe a bit more into the blues. Goodness. Why is it so difficult to pick a skin tone? Should I just color pick it from here? Might just get something weird. Okay, that's a nice color, but it just needs to be a bit lighter. Boy, picking. Okay, look, I'm going to go with this hue. Yep. Okay, I like that. Let's get rid of that. Add that one. Okay, there we go. Now, the way it works is I can do this kind of a color fill, right? Quite rough. And then when I enable the mask, right, the color mask that we did works on the exterior there, right? That's very, very cool. Where you have to, now you could, oh, I like that khaki green. Get a bit more brown. Right, you could make a mask for all the areas if you wanted to, okay? And that would be a really good way to go. And as I add them to the palette, right, I can draw outside here, right? And that end area will just automatically be masked out. Yeah. So then you just have to worry about the inside line work, right? And then you can always adjust it later. Right, and now this shape, because I created it on top of the other shape, it's going to sit on top. Boy, I don't know if you can hear my screaming kids. Bit of ambience there for you. That's going to sit on top. Okay. And when I do this t-shirt, I'm going to put the t-shirt, I think I want it between this color and that color, but I'm going to maybe do a color behind and then bring forward. Might work out that way. But I think the easiest thing to do is to try to do the t-shirt in draw mode. Now, he's got a very dark gray shirt. So basically, I'll just desaturate this color to gray. Right, add that. Let's move that up. No, down. So it's black gray, right? And for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to stay clean there, but then just go messy here, right? So we've got this over the green. Don't know if you can see that. In edit mode, I can select, hit L to link select. Okay. And then I can go stroke, arrange, send backwards, and it will send it one step back to sit under. I'll just disable these lines here so you can sort of see, right? Right, and I'll set one step back. So flatting is working pretty well. Now, of course, the beauty of being able to jump into edit mode at any time is that you can keep editing bits of your artwork, you know, on the fly, right? Okay, so just give me 1 second. I'm just going to get the fan on here because I'm starting to sweat, and I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, hey, we've got 13. Hi, everyone who's come in. I'll be back in like less than 10 seconds. Let's get back to it. Yep, that's what you get in the live stream. The real life. Kelly's here. Kelly, hi. It's going well. Good to see you. So this is a good time for you, huh? back in the saddle now. He's got sort of a ash blonde hair. Let's see if I can get the right... Nah. Color for this. Might have to... Let's push it more into the reds, more into the browns. A little bit darker, a bit muddy that, but a bit more saturated. No. Funny, these ones will work like that, but oh, there we go. Good. Let's see. Instead of sending the strokes back, you can draw in back. Yes, that will draw behind everything, though. Okay, and so the reason I did that center back is, one, to illustrate that particular function, but two, because the skin is just under this, and this t-shirt has to be under this but over that, I did that as a function there. Now, draw to back will send it all the way back, but if you've got multiple strokes, the real chore becomes this, right? If I select that, you got this arranged, bring forward, bring forward, bring forward, but that brings it forward in the order of the existing strokes. And right now, what I've got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you've got to bring it forward a number of times. And there's no real way of seeing that stack that I'm aware of. And so the other, the fast ones are bring to front, send to back, right? So those two will bring it obviously to the very top of the stack or the bottom of the stack. So while you've got these layers, the shapes that you create and the strokes you create actually get placed in an order. Plus, I've got this, I think where is it? The relationships, the strokes. Here we go. Stroke depth order, 2D layers, which means that if you put a stroke on top of another stroke, even if you are in 3D space, a stroke that's applied later, if you haven't got what you're referring to there, this draw strokes on back functions, that will actually always appear over. The other thing is to go to 3D location, and then, but what you do, because I'm drawing on one layer, right, you get this Z fighting in 3D space. Oh, that hurts the eyes, right? But in 2D, you don't get that because it's working on a 2D system. You get that? And so what I did is basically understand that, okay, I've drawn a lot of strokes. Now, if it's something that has to go directly behind, right, then, like, let's say that I had drawn this and I'd drawn the hair and I just needed to fit in this skin tone, yeah, I would go draw behind, because you can see that if you draw this, it disappears. I'll just disable the color mask for a second. It disappears because this has now been drawn behind everything, right? So if I go like this, right, it sits behind everything. I'm just going to undo 1, 2, okay, and oh, might have to undo one more time. Hang on a second. Are you still there? Yes, you are. Okay, let's just get rid of that. Enable the mask again, and let's draw in our hair, shall we? Well, been waiting for you to be back on your Patreon game. Yeah. So what I think I might do, Kelly, is work on a Speedpaint as a live stream as a bit of a warm-up before work, because, yeah, today's a work day. But it might be... look at that. See? Didn't... gotta take that off. Let's do this one more time. Might be a good chance to just get a warm-up in before I get it into storyboarding or content creation and stuff like that. And obviously, yeah, get the notification out on Patreon and all that sort of stuff. For anyone interested, at the moment, what I've done with my Patreon is I've just enabled one tier. That's like the tip jar tier. And you'll have access to most of the past posts as I go and periodically do a bit of a cleanup. I think this guy's got blue eyes from memory. It's sort of a grey blue. just going to keep it in this. All right. And I'll put the polls out for free, so you can, just follow along if you wanted to. And yeah, and so Patreon's still active, but I'm very well aware that I'm not going to be able to do much Patreon work there at the moment. What did I think of the final episode of The Expanse? I loved it. I loved the series from start to finish. I thought the televised version was amazing. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who is a fan and hasn't seen it. I'm just going to do a second inks pass just in case I get things wrong here, so that, let's see, I've got my lines. That's where the pure and clean thing is going to be. So we'll start with the logo there, and let's bring that down. Get the stroke. Maybe we'll go 60 so we can get a nice clean round edge. Oop, no. Well, maybe should we do this on the color layer? Yeah, let's go. Bring that down. Colors too. Pure and clean has got that green, but we'll make it a little bit brighter. There we go. That might be nicer. Why don't you draw Kamina Drummer in the future? I would love to, Kelly, but the voters said Amos. So yeah. All right, so now that I've got that color, I'm going to merge this down and hope that the mask, yes, the mask of the underlayer stays together. Excellent. Okay, let's do that again. I'm just gonna leave that GP layer, and let's go with a nice silvery gray, little devil symbol. Okay, devil pin, little horns there. Okay, and we'll fill this out a little bit later. And again, let's go merge down. So that's all on the color layer. Excellent. Now I'm wondering if I do the pupils in the color as well. So let's go just a little bit lighter than black. Yes, I would have loved to draw Kamina Drummer, but nobody voted for her. I'm so sad. I really like... Man, yes, Kara G is amazing. And if you follow any of the Expanse stuff on Twitter, man, the actors, they are so active on Twitter and they're so much fun just to, just to listen to and watch. Okay, that's really wonky. Should I just use a circle? Let's see now. Draw, circle, solid fill. Do. Okay, yep, you're good. Edit, linked, goodbye, linked, duplicate, Shift D. Oh man, it always looks weird. Always looks a bit weird going eye to eye, doesn't it? Yeah. But let's go back into draw mode. Okay, he's looking good. I reckon I might get some shading in here now. Strange dogs. Oh man, this is going to go into spoiler territory, and I don't want to lose subscribers. The strange dogs. Now, I'm trying to remember them from the books. I actually thought they were not what you're sort of supposed to see. Merge down. Okay, so I've got color there. Throw in our shades. And again, I'm going to put the mask on the shade here. Color mask. I'm in a meeting. Sorry guys, I just got to... sorry. Okay, sorry. Yes. What was I doing? Where was I? Yeah. I don't want to spoil it too much. So, yeah, Kamina drummer. Yes, I'd love to draw Kamina. She's amazing, and Karaji is just brilliant. Um, and the dogs. Yes. Look, I like them, but like they do set up a storyline that takes place in the next books, right? You know, Laconia, Duarte, all that sort of stuff. All of that is from future books, and like when they announced that this was going to be the final series, I was like, what? But you're setting all this really cool stuff up, and uh, yeah. So look, I liked it, but unless they sort of pull a switcheroo and just go, surprise, you fans wanted it, you know, we're gonna go with another season of The Expanse, and everyone will be like losing their collective minds. um, yeah, like it was good. It was good, and it was true to the books, but they've cut stuff out of the books before for the purposes of brevity, right? Or the purposes of just keeping things a little bit concise. Like they consolidated characters, and they did things with some storylines that were not necessary to the plot of the overall or the overarching story of the series. But yeah, yeah, this is something that I would have expected leads in. Did you want to see more of the Dark God entities? Uh, Look, I've wanted to see more of the Dark God entities in the books, right? But you know, and I'm on the final one right now. So if you've read it, no spoilers, please. Because I've heard it's a really good send off. But what I like about how this one treats its sci-fi is that these things are just so alien. They hint at certain, um, intelligence, but at the same time, there's no way to decipher their thinking other than they needed resources, and there was finite resources in the universe, and they figured out a way to get those resources from between the stars. You know, that was kind of amazing. I really liked how, enough said, and they kept it just so alien, and it was definitely more sort of based in the human story. Yes, Duarte, you're talking about. They had gods to slay. Yes, that's why. That's why I don't want to say too much because Duarte becomes more important in future books. So they could definitely do another series or two and follow that entire timeline. But in the books that takes place much later, like we're talking decades, right? And so it was a good place to leave it as well, right? Actually, let's do this chin shading here. Because it kind of finished off an era of the Expanse stories. But yeah, Duarte is an interesting character in the books. That's the wrong color. That I don't want that. I want black, so I can get this sort of nice, and there we go. Right. So the ring builders were stomping on the dark god's turf. I wonder if I flip the canvas was also added. Oh, look, dude, you can flip canvas real easy. Okay, watch this. Art. I'm just going to quickly show you. Wait a second. Unless this is new, but I didn't know that you could rotate the grease pencil using middle mouse button control. Or, oh, I'm rotating the view. So if I go control and middle. No, sorry, that's going to go into. So do I have to be in object mode? So this is pan. I've middle mouse, control. It's usually middle mouse. I've switched it to shift middle mouse for my particular workflow. So this is a little bit of a bespoke tool. Now you can. I'm looking at viewport numpad 1, and if you go control numpad any view, you automatically flip it. So I could go that, numpad 1, control numpad 1, right? And that flips it. So you can do that kind of flip task. And it doesn't have to be built into to Grease Pencil exactly. Yes, you can. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so here I'm in draw mode. Oh yeah, you can definitely flip. Sorry, control 1. Right. Flip, flip. Yes, and I'm in draw mode here. So I'm going to continue to draw in all my shading. Right, this is going to be very vector art-ish, I think, until we get that lighting going. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to add this color to my palette and bring that back down. There we go. So this is my skin shadow color. This is my, yeah, so that we can get a bit of this skin shading in there. Maybe a little bit in there as well. And continue to shade here. So anything else is rotate. Oh, you can do it in Grease Pencil. Oh, you mean like flipping just the Grease Pencil? Yeah, you can do a mirror mode, but like I find that using Blender's inbuilt system is just a little bit easier to handle. Okay. And yeah, definitely faster. So now we're just going to get a few of these shadows blocked in. Get this bit of a forward-leaning look. And why don't we use the shading to detail this little dude. That, like that. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, still looking a little bit wispy-eyed here. Black, like this. Shading on that. Welcome if you've just joined. I'm seeing that the subscriber count is definitely going up. Drawing Amos Burton from the Expanse. Ugh. Why did I do that? Let's go with solid stroke. Increase the brush size. And let's just draw in a few of these. All right. Now I've got something special lined up for the stubble. I was thinking of maybe using a texture brush. There we go. All right, so that's just using a bit more there and there. Yeah, he's looking a bit better there. Let's get our black and get in a bit of this. Maybe make these a little bit darker. Yeah, that's good. Yes, so drawing Amos Burton from the Expanse. And I think I'm going to throw in that highlights layer now. Nice and easy mask the color mask. Start with some light colors, or maybe we should, yeah, dip into. Yeah, I think I like this idea. I think I like this idea more. So we can get a bit of this sort of thing going, and we can work maybe on some basic rim lighting. Oh, actually, if I go, I'm going to try it on this one first, right? I'm going to do a bit of rim lighting on here. Let's see if this looks better. Right? So got some rim lights in there. We can drop that opacity down a little, make sure that the color mask is on. I think this is going to work. Yep. This really sort of picks things out, right? That's a bit too intense, so I might just quickly erase that and try this on my highlights layer, which has got some opacity, much lower opacity. Yeah. There we go. Put that thicker there, and then, oh, locked or hidden. Yep, we want it unlocked. It's a thin extra line along the jawline to really define it. And go back to highlights here. Maybe increase the brush size and get a bit of that. Maybe we'll redo the shade on this shape. We're just going to delete that shape. Maybe even delete this shape. And now with the dark skin tone, just getting a bit of a Terminator effect. Not the character Terminator, but like, okay, look, that's all right. And shrinking the brush. Bit of this line work in here. Think you'll ever find a way to communicate with the dark gods? Oh, I don't know. I'll read the final book and find out if they do. I think that's one of the things that I really liked, is that they're just so alien. You know, how do you communicate that? I mean, you can use their toys, but they're still just so beyond human reasoning. They work on a larger span of time and just, yeah. So now this is just detailing with some shading here. Thanks, Noel. Good to see you. Okay. So, what was I going to do with the stubble here? I was going to do a texture and see if it works. Now, do I have a texture brush in? No, I don't. So I'm just going to quickly save, because I found that texture brushing, this is going to be rim light. That's part of the color side of things. I have to bump this up and select this color. Yeah, texturing is a bit difficult because oh, no, bang, bang, bang. Because it actually does work in sort of 3D space, and it's very intensive on the processors, as you'll see. So I'm really hoping that I don't freak out my computer and drop the stream. I've got the rim light sort of coming in from that direction, so that's sort of why I think it's going to be a bit thicker in some areas. Right, even on the lip there, maybe a bit more on the... Don't want him to look like he's got greys or anything. Right, we also want some ink highlights. So this one, going to make 100% white. Right, and we're going to add in a couple of little highlights in the eyes there. Right, bang, bang. That's looking a lot nicer. Right, and yeah, what I want to do also for the color, let's do a secondary color here. That's the hair color. Let's go a bit lighter and grab in a solid fill. Just drawing a couple of shapes here that go with the contour of the hair, just to get it a little bit more textured. Now it looks like he's got some he's got some highlights. Okay, and we could always drop that down a little bit. Yes, yes. He's starting to look pretty dang good. All right, I'm gonna save my work. Where are we at? Haven't even been recording an hour and we've gotten to this point. This is really good. Yes, I think Art has heard, yep, is guessing my game. So yeah, I'm just going to merge this down. Look at that! It actually kept the coloring, I think, when I did that merge. Right, so I want the beard to sit under everything else, not under the ink. So let's do this. Let's go a beard mask. Okay, so we know what we don't need to use lights, and let's go ahead and draw in grey beard mask. Yep, and we'll draw a nice shape around jawline. Right, it's already looking kind of cool. Right, so let's say that was where his beard is. Maybe we just need a little bit on the throat as well. Okay, so this is where his beard sits. I'm going to drop the opacity on that, and now we're going to add another layer. We're going to call this beard, and we're going to give this the mask, beard mask. Now you'll notice that the order in which the layers are set don't correspond to how the mask system works. You can set any layer as any mask. Might be a good idea to sort of drop your mask layers underneath everything else, so you don't have to worry about them all the time. Now, let's go quickly save my work. Go over to my oh no, I didn't want to do a new brush. I want to download and import texture brushes. Now this thing here right, gets you these texture brushes. And I wanted to do a spray. Let's start with this texture spray here, right? I'm just going to clean up. Make sure, yeah, that's gone now. Good. Right, now I don't want it in red. I want this in black. Beard. Okay. Definitely needs larger radius. Just going to test this. Is this the material? Dot stroke. Spray. Interesting. Text spray. Yeah, it's got... No. Oh. Damn it. I just ruined the brush. Right. Let's go with this one. But what I want is a lot more jitter on this. I want to spread it out a lot more. I don't want him to have a Keanu beard. I want to have a nice, even beard. Right? And I want it to be a texture, but I want it to be this sort of spray-ish texture here. Is there more brushes? There are. Excellent. So I can scroll. I've got text spray, text leaves. Definitely need the text spray. That's spray 1. Okay, so there we go. Spray 1. Excellent. Spray 1, texture, alignment path, rotation. See if there's any things I can do with this texture. Preview. Okay. Maybe the radius needs to be set really, really high, like this. So let's see if we do a spray. Right, we get that texture. Could work, right? It's a little bit too intense. Strength. Okay. Just tread lightly here with the spray. And you can already see how that mask cuts it off, right? So, look, it's not the greatest. It's not the great, and we don't have bearded lips. So what I'm going to have to do is go back. Let's go back into our ink brush, ink pen. Did I delete my ink pen? How the heck did I delete my ink pen? Oh my God. I think I deleted my ink pen. My default. Yeesh. So I'm going to have to go with pencil, solid stroke. Okay, that'll do. That'll do for now. Okay, go back to our beard mask. We'll just bring the opacity up on that. Beard mask. Got to bring this up above color. Got to cut out those lips. So what we need is a holdout material. Going to make a new material. Got holdout. There we go. And a holdout can be any color. But when you draw with a holdout, this is what happens. I want the holdout to not be a stroke. I want it to be a fill. There. No, I don't want stroke on that. So now, this holdout should cut a hole in that mask. It's looking a bit better. Now when I go back to here and I drop the opacity of my mask down again, let's bring our mask way down there, and bring in our beard again, drop the opacity of the beard. Now we've got a bit of texture. Yep. Just to imply a beard there. Now usually I would do that a lot faster. Now I want to do another thing. I want to do another texture here. So I'm going to add a layer. call this texture, and I'm going to set this mask to color mask, right? And let's bring in maybe this stone texture. Oh, stone? Not great. Oil. Still too thick. I want something, okay, I'll go with the spray, and we'll definitely bump that up quite big. So I've got a bit of texture in there. And now we can sort of bring that down, maybe even set it to a different... yeah, just not having the greatest time with textures, but they do tend to add... okay, so I could probably... because this has got a bit of a color variation on it, right? Set to pressure. So the more pressure I apply, yeah, that's on black. So let's do it with this blue. There we go. I really don't like that. And my computer's beginning to chug. I can hear it. Right. Don't want to use lights. This is why. I'm going to shift. Right. Look at the beard. Can you all see what's going on with the beard? If I shift rotate, the beard looks kind of funny because this texture is in 3D space. Right. That's kind of cool. But yeah. So let's see now. With, without. With, without. Make barely any difference, and it's just not... it's just going to really bring up that... make my computer chug. Alright, so I'm going to call him done for now. Let's go into camera view. We'll definitely want some background. Definitely need to get the pure and clean here. But what I want to do is I want to begin to add some lighting. So let's go into our outliner. And I'll need my 3D cursor to be visible. Hello, 3D cursor. Where's my 3D cursor? Yeah. Okay. Shift S. Cursor. There it is. Okay, cool. Right. Yes, we're adding lights. So we're going to... I think I might just shift over to keyboard and mouse for a moment. Alright, so we're going to go Shift A, light, point. And we're in rendered mode. We could just go into scene lights. Just make sure that scene lights is enabled. We'll go into rendered mode. Because if you go into this preview mode called, I think it's viewport shading, textures are actually showing up, which isn't bad. Boy, my computer's really chugging. Okay, so what I've got to do here is beard. I'm going to have to just disable the beard for now. Boy, it's really chugging. Because that texture. How do I speed this up again? Let's see, if we go into shaded mode, right? Vertex shaded mode. We still streaming? The stream is healthy. Good. Okay. Vertex shaded mode. Isn't going to see the light. There we go. Okay, cool. Excellent. Let's go into this shaded mode. Right, so we can get some lights in. And now we can begin to light our character a little bit more subtly. So I'm going to bump this way up so it's nice and bright. And we'll give this a bit of a blue texture. Sorry, blue color. And we've got to position this. I'm going to move this in the Y direction. Yeah. Like so. Now I'll bring this color over here, and this color we're going to make a little bit more of a yellowy, maybe even green. Green might work actually to pick out those details. And let's just bring that back out. I've got to really drop down that now, one thing I sometimes like to do is to grab a highlight. Let's make this quite small and just move it really close, right? Maybe really tiny. And you can get quite an intense highlight. And it'll just give us a really nice burn there, right? And if we just take away all of that, yeah, he's looking pretty cool. He's looking pretty cool. Let's get our beard back, right? And that's masked. So yep, he's looking good. And what I want to do, one last thing I want to do is to do a background texture. So I'm going to go into side view. I'm going to move my cursor back here, right, behind the character, right? And when I do my drawing, my origin, I'm going to set to 3D cursor. I'm going to bring my pen back here. Right. Then the last thing we'll do, of course, before we wrap these things up, because I've got to go to work and I think other people are going to sleep and all that sort of stuff. So if you're still here, thanks for hanging around. Let's get a nice texture background. I might go with a cloudy texture. Bring that right up to something like 1500. This is the blues and the purples. Oh, yep, and we want to go background. Yeah, now that purple's not right. It needs to be more electric blue. And we want to see it there. Maybe we'll go even higher. When we do quite a big brush, it does tend to go a little bit weird. But we can just texture in this background, right? And then just play around with some of the coloring to get this bit of an oil painting kind of vibe. Just get that a little bit more darker still. It'll almost be a bit of a vignette. Okay, looking good. What I might do is I might bring that down quite small and get a bit of a... let's see if there's a different texture brush here. Maybe an oil or a spray. Let's try the spray. This highlight here. Just to... maybe it's a bit of protomolecule dust around. Right, so with the beard re-enabled, I think the next thing to do, okay, so we haven't got his pure and clean. We'll leave that for now. What we'll do is we'll jump into compositing. So I'm going to bring in my compositor, use nodes, and we will do a render of this. there's my Amos render. He's looking good. So now we can just do a bit of compositing stuff to really bring that out. Now, because that's loaded into image, I can now go to image editor, render result, or even just, the rendering tab, right? And if we wanted to make this bigger, we can just go, okay, 200% might be better. Do another render. Ooh, now he's big. Right. Okay. But I do tend to like the default because I can see this and I can just work on these nodes a little bit separately. So, and also because it's rendered, we're not looking at the textures anymore. So we'll just do some slight color balance, I think. Bring down the gamma a little bit. Get the highlights. There we go. Yes. Drop the lift. Maybe we, yeah, that sort of compresses it a little bit. Yep. Then we can sort of push things into the blue tones a little bit more. I like to get my darks more sort of reddish purple and my mids and highlights a bit more blue. There's a filter that I like to use, just a normal filter. It's called Soften, and that just takes the edge off the sharpness a little bit, and of course the glare effect, fog glow. Let's bring the threshold right down. Now this one's a bit CPU intensive, but we can keep bringing up that threshold until only the highlights of the highlights are glowing. Just mix that in ever so slightly. I can bring that right down. Okay, there. Yeah, maybe this isn't going to be the best one because I do like the overall glow, but we'll just have to mix this back in. So we'll go color, mix that, and then with the glow, maybe just the image can be glowed. All right. See what this looks like. And now we can bring that factor and control. Maybe we can even just make it an add or overlay. No, overlay's going to mess things up. Screen. No, that's going to mess things up as well. Multiply. That could work. Nah, too stark. So I'm just going to drop this down to about there. Maybe even lower. And we can bring in, lower the threshold a bit more. And go high on that. Yeah, so this is where we see that these highlights are just a little bit too much, right? I like the overall glow, but these highlights are really messing things up. So you can sort of go back in and take those out if you want, or I can just not have that effect. Okay, and just as a bit of a final touch, the other thing you can do is, do we want a texture? No, we want an image. Image. So I'm just going to go to my Dropbox texture library. I've just got some, here we go, texture. Now this will have to be definitely increased in size. Just going to go with my mix, go to multiply this image, right? And now we're going to have to transform this image. So we're going to go distort, Actually, maybe just a scale. There we go, scale. I got 2, 3. There we go. And now I can just bring that right down, just to have a bit of a subtle texture in there. And now, yeah, obviously, some of these levels have got to be brought up and down again. I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it, guys. I mean, I like the texture, but the overlay. Overlay's working a bit better. Because it's playing on this, but not so much on the skin, which is really good. I want to drop down those highlights so that they're not so stark. Push the mids into the blue. All right, how about we call that done? Yeah? What do you guys think? Yes or no? Does Amos Burton work well? Maybe I should get rid of the Amos inks over here. So because then I'll just no. Keep the background. Let's get rid of that. Okay, and go back into object mode. So that's what it looks like in just sketch preview. So you can see that the brushes don't show up the texture, but then in these ones we can get lighting and texturing looking really, really nice. While I'm in here, I'll just go back to here, or this one actually. Let's grab that light. Tweak. Just power. Maybe that's it. Wireframe? Oh man. Damn it. I want to grab and move, but it's really stalling. Okay, let it work its bugs out. Anyone still in the chat? No? Interesting. Why won't... Have I got some sort of a lock on again? Damn it. Grabbed it. Okay. Right, looks like it's okay, so let's go back here. There we go. Shading on his eyes is looking a little bit nicer. Let's bring down that highlight there. What color is this? A bit more of a pinkish hue there. Right. Okay, I think I'm liking Amos much better now. Let's bring in those layers again. Do another render. Oh no, we don't need the don't need the lines. Unless would the lines be a nice? bit of an added touch. Render. Could be a nice touch, actually. Might leave them in there. Now we'll go back to image. Oh, yes. Yep, that's my Amos Burton, guys. That's my Amos Burton. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Really enjoyed this one. Gonna save this picture. Pencil Speed Paint. Amos. And he's done. All right. Time to sign off. Thank you for joining me. Yep, if you manage to put something in the chat, just say bye or whatever. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Don't know when that's going to be, but yeah, ending the stream for now. All right, see you all.